Well, it's on to Denmark on Thursday. We're all thinking about how we can get out of work early to watch that one. I mean, after the win in the first game, Glenn, it means that's a nice sort of solid base. So in a way, it doesn't need to be anything special. There's no pressure for this one, but you'd think they want to go out and get another win and as Steve says, get 100% in the group.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point in looking ahead at sort of what side of the draw you're going to be in or any of that sort of rubbish at the moment. You play the game that's in front of you. I think, yeah, Denmark are a decent level European side. They've obviously had good results relatively recently. I don't think they're
beat San Marino 2-1.
Yeah, I don't think they're what they were, 6 or 7 years ago when they were pretty tasty. But yeah, I mean, Yannick Vestergaard still gets in the squad for God's sake.
Still starts.
Pierre Højbjerg still starts. Most we haven't been linked with him yet. That's
Well, I've seen his agent was out talking today that he wants to go to a club with a proper project about winning and stuff like that. So I'm not saying the Saints aren't that, but I think his sights might be slightly higher.
Maybe we should pick an ex-player and just start the rumour between us and see how far we can get.
But I do think on that, though, I mean, the agent of a player coming out, a player who isn't even that good, coming out and saying, oh, yeah, basically saying Tottenham are not good enough for my client. I think it's a strange way of engineering a move, but it does happen quite a lot now.
Tottenham, a club whose first team he can't get into these days.
There you go.
Christian Eriksen as well. I mean, that was a good story, wasn't it? Christian Eriksen. It was it 3 years ago. Have collapsed on the pitch, didn't he? And then to score the opening goal for them is good. Would you stick with the same 11, Alfie? Do you think there'd be some changes? I mean, stick with the winning side, or does it depend if Luke Shaw comes back in?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'd probably I don't know how fit Luke Shaw is. The fact he's on the bench is a positive sign, but I can't imagine he's fit. I think when Gareth Southgate spoke before tournament, he said that hopefully he'll play some part in the second game. So I see that as him coming off the bench. So I think I probably would stick with the same 11, if I'm being honest. I don't think I would change it. The start of the game was good. Find that same start again. The only conundrum is how does Foden get the best out of himself? Because everyone's been asking how do they get the best out of Foden. But at the end of the day, he's a Premier League Player of the Year winner who scored 20 goals this season. He should be able to deliver in somehow. And so he has to find a way of doing that. It's not all about coaching, in my opinion. When you're a player who's that good, you can get more out of yourself. So it'd be interesting to see what that is. But I give all of them another chance. And then I imagine he'll probably use a couple of different substitutes as well. Obviously, Conor Gallagher will come on. I'd like to see Cole Palmer come on. I must admit, I thought when he didn't bring Cole Palmer on for Saka, I know it's a slightly different profile. I was thinking, not sure about Jared Bowen. I didn't think he'd play a minute. And then within about 30 seconds, he shut me right up with a brilliant crossing. So it turns out if you bring on a profile the same, maybe you get the right result. So yeah, I would keep the same 11, I think.
Do you think that would be the key, Steve? Be some different substitutions, maybe more of them, and a bit sooner in this one, depending on how we get on?
Possibly. I mean, ultimately, it depends how the starters get on, doesn't it? I mean, personally, I would make a change. I would have Gallagher in basically just to stop the supply from Eriksen. Yeah. Well, from and to Eriksen, stop him getting the ball, and Denmark don't create anything. So I think that's there's an argument that we're England, we should be better than shutting down one player against a side like Denmark. But Denmark are a decent side on their day. So, and Eriksen is probably their standout player. So I think he's due a certain degree of respect. And I think our best way of winning is to not only we do our own thing in the attacking third as we can do. But also the best way of shutting them down is to shut him down. So yeah, that would be my only change. Subs, I kind of thought the timing was okay. I mean, you can make an argument that okay, well I've seen the first 5 minutes of this second half and it's not going well, so make the change immediately. But I think ultimately most managers are quite reluctant to do that. It's often been a sort of bit of a sort of Mourinho-esque performative, right? You lot have been rubbish, so I'm gonna sort of make a show of doing a triple sub here and now, 5 minutes into the second half, when basically you've not even had enough time to really get yourself back up to speed of things. So yeah, I mean maybe it's a sort of on the hour type sub where, yeah, I mean Anthony Gordon's an option if if it's not happening for Foden. Eze, I'd quite like to see, just because he's the guy who I think replicates what Grealish would have brought in terms of being able to operate in tight spaces and retain possession, and kind of allow others to kind of get up the field and support. I mean, I've no particular issue with Grealish not being in the squad. He's not had a particularly good season, and others have been better than him, quite frankly. So that selection or non-selection is fine for me. But I think give the guy who's clearly his replacement an opportunity. I think at some point that'd be nice.
He's there for a reason. I mean, we've seen most of the sides now. I think Portugal kick off in just a moment. Glenn, anybody that's really sort of stood out for you if you're thinking about some of the favourites? I think the bookies are still talking about England and France and Germany as well. They had a good win, but of course the caveat, it was against Scotland. So with your mate in goal. So
it was great, wasn't he? And his Wikipedia page got vandalised afterwards, which is
did it? Oh, great.
He's got a middle name of Poppadom wrists, apparently. But yeah, there you go.
The Germans that we've got to be worried about?
Germany did look good. They had a certain dynamism about them. The couple of new players, Musiala, I think everyone knows about by now. Saints reject, obviously. He looks very good, and Wirtz, who's been banging in goals for Leverkusen this season, they're sort of two sort of wide forwards, if you like, and the German team seems to be a lot more dynamic than it's been of late. So I definitely think Germany will be better than they have been. Obviously, they're at home as well. So yeah, they look good. France, you just look at their squad and it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I mean, the 11 they had on the pitch, and then they're bringing on, first sub's a guy who won the Champions League with Real Madrid, and they've got their record goal scorer come off the bench as well, and it's just mad, the players they've got. It's going to take a hell of a team and a hell of a performance to beat them. What they've probably got the best back four in the tournament as well as all the attacking players. So they're going to be a very difficult team.
Obviously, I don't wish injury anybody, but Mbappe's broken nose, which will rule him out for 2 games, has come a little bit too early for us, unfortunately, because that would have been quite ideal. He'll be fine.
One team I was impressed by, even though they lost, was Austria. I thought they were really good against France.
But no end product.
No, it was like watching, Ralph Ball when he was at Saints, but they kept it going for 90 minutes, and I think Ralph Rangnick's reputation is
Jim Ratcliffe will be on the phone any minute now.
Yeah,
getting him back.
I like that. I like that guy who's made this Austrian team quite interesting to watch. Who's he?
Yeah. I mean, Austria have always been really an also ran, and he's. I mean, it's unfortunate for them. They're in the horrible group, because I think it's the Dutch and Poland in there as well. So it's going to be difficult. I've enjoyed watching. Obviously, I watched Bednarek against against Holland. He did okay. It's just a shame they lost for that late goal. But Spain are the interesting ones as well. They've got a couple of young players who
16 years old.
Yeah,
16.
I keep looking at my 19-year-old son and saying, "When are you going to play? When are you going to play international football? Where are you?" 16 years old. It's ridiculous. And so if Spain have always had the trouble sticking the ball in the net. The last few tournaments, but they had 3-0 against Croatia, even though it is a fading Croatia team.
Putting all 3 of those midfielders alongside each other against Spain was just asking for trouble, I think.
Yeah.
Just got passed through the middle for both the first 2 goals.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, all the favourites have won their opening game, apart from Belgium. And
that was the shock, wasn't it?
Well, was it really? When you see Wout Faes playing, you just sort of think, nah, he's really not very good. So no, I wasn't surprised Belgium lost. But it was a bit of a shock, I guess. But no, all the teams you expect to be up there are going to be up there, and I think Portugal will be decent as well.
I did want to say on Jamal Musiala, by the way, obviously, like everyone knows about him, but I was actually genuinely surprised. I didn't realize he was that good. But I saw a scout who found him in like 2013, I think it was, and she was getting praised all over the internet for it, and obviously did her victory lap on Twitter as well. But a real baller knows that Rosh Batty, local Southampton coach, spotted him and tweeted about him in 2011. So I think he deserves real credit for that. City Central, obviously local side, he was speaking about Musiala in 2011. So fair play to him.
We need to dig that tweet out then and find that. Have you enjoyed it so far, Alfie? Just generally speaking, there's been some good games. There's been a few goals, but some close games as well.
I've enjoyed it massively. I've been lucky enough to obviously save up the holiday that I can't use during the season, and I've taken it all on the England games. So I've not been working around the England games, or indeed many of the games, to be honest with you. And it's been good. Loads of goals. Romania for me was my favourite. I think thought the Romania-Ukraine game was brilliant. Just absolutely.
And that was a massive surprise as well, wasn't it?
Well, you say that, but if you read my group chat with my friends at home, you would not agree, because I said that Romania might have a chance. They went unbeaten in qualifying. They got 22 points from I think it's 8 or 10 games.
Didn't they have quite a ropey group though?
Yeah, well, there's somebody else in that group who's in the tournament. I can't remember who it is, but I couldn't believe it when I saw that.
Possibly.
Was it? Yeah. But I mean, fair play. They scored a couple of absolute thunder bastards, and then they defended well for most of it. So I really enjoyed watching them. I'm looking forward to watching Portugal. Obviously, they've started now. I've been kind of keen to see what Cristiano Ronaldo is going to do for his 50th tournament. And we keep saying it'll be his last one, but I mean, it might not be. The next one is in America, which may make that slightly more challenging for him. But yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Will he get a visa?
Well, that's the question. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I've enjoyed it a lot.
Whatever can you mean?
we need to wrap up so we can all go and watch that Portugal game. Steve, how long are you out there for? What's the plan?
So I've got this place in Koblenz booked basically up until the semi-final, but I'm going to be kind of coming and going once we get through the group stage. So yeah, bit back and forth once we get to the knockouts.
Fantastic. Well, enjoy the game on Thursday.